Hmm. Okay. Hare Krishna everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Aham Shri Guruhu Shri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagara Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Sadabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we're going to be looking at chapter 16. Okay. So does anyone remember what we covered as part of chapter 15 yesterday? Anyone wants to does anyone have any recollection, or is there anything that stood out for you or something that impressed upon you, that it made you think or will make you think? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, yesterday we understood about the banyan tree. It is also known as Ashwasthama.
Ashwatha.
Ashwatha. My mistake, Mataji.
Yeah.
And
no problem.
Yes. And we learned about that its different parts, like leaves are the Vedic hymns, and most importantly, knowledge is power, which we have read throughout the previous chapters.
Yeah.
And root is a symbol of a life consciousness.
Yeah.
From Supreme Lord. Branches are various planes, living entities.
Yeah.
And which are present and nourished moods of nature.
Yeah, nourished by the moods of nature. Very good. Yes.
Nourished by the moods of nature. And there is a very important medicinal property of banyan.
Yeah.
The barks.
Yeah.
And the trunk of banyan tree is Brahma.
Correct.
And later we learned about that our soul is the controller of our body, and super soul fulfills our desire.
Correct.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Good. Very good. Good. I'm happy that you were able to recollect most of the things that we covered yesterday. Anyone else wants to kind of share in their learning of yesterday's chapter? Anybody else? There is a very important thing about the banyan tree, which is this banyan tree that the Lord took as an example, is an imaginary tree. But then it has a deeper connotation, because the banyan tree also sends out secondary shoots, which go down and then form, trunks again. So effectively, as the age of the banyan tree grows, it is very difficult to find out which is the primary bark and which is the secondary bark. So we also, as living entities, we create so many desires, and these desires are like the secondary shoots of the banyan tree. So these are the ones that create attachments to material things, and these desires are the one which kind of completely keep us entangled, and these desires are the one simply make us hanker more and more, that our attachments grow so deep that even after we accomplish one cycle of birth, we have to transmigrate to take other bodies so that we can fulfill these desires. And what the Lord said is, the only way we can completely, help ourselves to get liberated from these attachments is to cut this tree of desire with the acts of detachment. Okay, so detachment is a very primary element for us to make sure that we become desireless, or we also get to becoming or taking on the purity of that eternal supreme soul of the Lord, of which we are all an eternal part of. So the Lord wants us, and especially in the human body, because of the ability to have that intellect and use the intellect with the correct judgments and discrimination, it is possible for us to get free of attachments and detach ourselves from these desires that keep growing on us. Now, taking on from the chapter, this chapter 16 is going to look at all those kind of qualities which are divine, which can help us to kind of get that liberation, and also the qualities which actually distract us and are responsible for our attachments. Now, when you go through this, you're going to be in for a big surprise. I will tell you that surprise as we get closer there. We are going to be very close to it. Probably in another 10 minutes, I'll let you know that. But this chapter is divided into 4 parts. There are 3 verses where the Lord is going to list out all the divine qualities. And then he goes on with another 4 verses to kind of narrate the qualities that become our shortcomings, which are called the demonic qualities or the asura qualities. The divine qualities are the daiva qualities. The demonic or the negative qualities, the Bhagavad Gita, we read it in Sanskrit as the asura qualities. And then he's going to talk about at length of what these asura qualities can do in us or make us do. And then he spends around 4 verses, 20 to 24, how to give up these negative qualities or demonic qualities or the asura qualities. Okay, so this one is called the Daiva Asura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, means the distinction or the differences between the divine qualities and the demonic qualities. Okay, does someone want to read this? One second. I'm just thinking, should I go to Veda base and read it out from there? Wait, let's go to Veda base. Let's go to Veda. Give me a minute. I'll take you to Veda base. Veda base is here. It's great to read it from Veda base. 16. Okay, can you see this? Chapter 16 from Veda base?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, can you read this?
Yes. The divine and demonic natures. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness.
Covetousness.
Sorry, Mataji.
Freedom from covetousness.
Freedom from covetousness and gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion of honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belongs to godly men endowed with divine nature.
Exactly. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So we go to this. Look at the meaning of this. What did the abhayam? In the verse, abhayam means fearlessness. Fearlessness from what? What causes fear? Fear in our minds. What is the reason that brings fear in our mind? When do we feel fear? Or when does one become fearful? Hare Krishna. When does one become fearful? Huh? When does one become fearful? When does fear overcome you?
Mataji, when there is chance of losing something.
Very good, excellent. That is the thing. When there is a chance and when there is a fear of losing something, there is fear. And there are two types of fear. One is external fear, one is internal fear. What is external fear? Something that can harm us, things that can bring some kind of a some kind of an infliction upon us, or something that can afflict us, diseases, accidents. These are some of the fears of external agencies. And the internal fears are more around our own fear of losing something. And this fear can be losing one's money. It could be losing one's status in society. It can be at the body level. It can be at the mind. It can be at the intellectual level as well. It can be fear of losing one's knowledge or intelligence. It can be losing one's power. It could be losing one's attachment or one's kind of, family and family relationships, friendships, wealth, honor. This is fear. So someone who is divine, has no such fears. And why does he not have fear? Because he knows he's an eternal soul, and that what he loses is only at the bodily level. Nothing is lost at the soul level, because the soul is ever free. The next one is purification fear, sattva samsuddhihi, purification of one's existence. It means when one lives by the rules of what? Rules of the Vedas, rules of Dharma. When one is not swayed by unwanted elements or elements that are likely to kind of create a lot of hankering or a lot of distress, lot of anxiety. And then one who is in knowledge, when you have the complete knowledge of yourself and your relationship with that eternal spirituality, one becomes completely free of things that will create attachments. See, all these qualities are qualities that will help us to overcome attachments. Now, so 3 qualities we saw: fearlessness, purification of existence, knowledge. And the next one is cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So that is very important. I told you yesterday, spiritual knowledge is so engaging and so empowering that it acts as a filter against all unwanted things. And as well as it helps you to become wiser. When you are wiser, you automatically kind of, get into dealings that show the wisdom. Okay. And the next one he says here is charity. It's very important. Prabhupada says charity is very, very important for grihasthas, because over and above what you have, you should be able to have that quality in you to also do some sharing, make some donations to needy people and needy institutions. Okay. But I think charity is important at all levels of the Varnashrama Dharma, even at a student's level. If we have some ability in us, if we have some capacity in us, if we have the ability to teach someone something, I think that is also comes under charity. You need to have that wide heart. You need to have that large heart to help someone who is not as brilliant as you are, who probably hasn't understood things as they should have. Maybe some amount of sharing of knowledge, some amount, for example, I'm sure students, when they are absent, they ask for notes from friends. And I know many people, they neither share the notes or do they have the desire to share also. The desire to share doesn't happen. It doesn't mean just because you share something that you have, it means that the other person becomes intelligent or the other person is going to gain better than you. Sometimes you may have everything, but then you may not do as well as a person who doesn't have anything. We have so many examples of children who are born in very, very modest homes, and yet they excel in doing things. In fact, if you see around the world, all the big names that we hear of, whether it's Sundar Pichai or any other person who has made it big, they all belong to very modest families. And didn't they make it? Did they have everything? I wonder if they would have even had that opportunity to have taken all those kind of courses which today every child takes to take any entrance examinations, right? So don't they look at Abdul Kalam? He was born in a very, very modest family. I think his family, I don't know if they were also into some kind of activity related to, fisheries and things like that. But he was born in such a modest family. And he went on to becoming the president. He went on to become the people's president. And he was the highest regarded technocrat in the platform of space and research. He led ISRO to wonderful kind of heights that they achieved, and all of that credit goes in a big way to him, and he's one of the most beloved human being. But was a modest man. So it doesn't mean just because we share something with somebody, we lose out something. So therefore, one who has this quality of sharing definitely is rich, is definitely far more, endowed, is someone that, definitely is someone who is more spiritually inclined. We'll talk about a little more later. Then he also says self-control, dharma, self-control. Self-control is a very essential thing at all levels, particularly, as we grow older from our childhood to boyhood and girlhood and then adulthood. It becomes very, very important. If you lose your self-control, especially the sense gratifications at the bodily level are so powerful. I think that self-control is a must. And the second one is performance of sacrifice. What does sacrifice mean? Giving up. Sacrificing means giving up something to get something. For example, at your kind of levels, it should be giving up certain things which probably are not that worthy, so that you can focus your energies on the field that you want to excel in. It could be studies, it could be sports, it could be any kind of vocational, interest that you would have. So that is sacrifice. For parents, it will be, giving up their own desires for the sake of fulfilling the desires of their children. That is sacrifice. And also sacrifice for the Lord. What is that? Make some time in your schedule to also think about the Lord and thank him for everything that he does for us day in and day out and every second. Yeah. Study of the Vedas, that's very important, because that is the one which helps us to be in control. That is the one which helps us to be realistic. That is the one which helps us to kind of be grounded. All of you have studied, up to 15 chapters now. And today we are on the 16 chapters, and then thereafter there are 2 more chapters. I am sure there are a couple of things that you have been able to carry away with you thus far, and you will definitely find it useful if you really, constantly meditate upon it and put it to practice in your daily life. Simplicity. There's no equivalence to simplicity. Simplicity is what helps us again to keep ourselves away from pride, away from any kind of that ahankara, ego. Simplicity is absolutely, is far more richer than all the wealth in the world. Non-violence. Non-violence is not to kind of unnecessarily engage in activities that will bring harm to yourself and as well as to other human entities and all other living entities in this planet. That is non-violence. Don't unnecessarily provoke and attack. Today, the world has become so provocative. People at the drop of a hat want to take to harmful ways of achieving their things. They don't even understand what they are doing, but they get on to doing things. The kind of engagements that we see people getting into these days, harming public property, harming innocent people, that has become the way of life. I think such spiritual studies and association with such spiritual things help us to kind of be far more balanced and far more tolerant. Truthfulness. Being truthful. Truthful is not only, being truthful to yourself. When you're truthful to yourself, you're honest in every dealing that you get into. Truthful honesty is not only about, about the things that you do, but honesty is also about the way you think of things. Your thoughts. Honesty in your thoughts, because only when you have your thoughts in place in the right way you think, you will be able to exercise that in every action that you perform. Freedom from anger. We have seen it before. The Lord has explained this innumerable number of times. Anger leads to delusion. Delusion means we don't think from our intellect, and the human body is the only vehicle which has the ability to think. And it has the ability to make judgments in the right way. So therefore, freedom from anger, anyone who's free from anger has a divine quality. Renunciation. There has to be, we need to know when is it that we need to give up. We have to give up. There's nothing that we own. We have come with nothing and we shall go with nothing. Even a beggar also goes without taking any of his belongings. So does a rich man who has palaces and all kinds of bank balances and all in banks in the country and outside the country. He also leaves everything behind and goes. So what are we trying to hold on to? Renunciation is very important. That attitude to give up, the attitude to not hold on to things is very important. Such a quality is also a divine quality. Tranquility, being at peace with everything. Being at peace with yourself is the first step to tranquility. When you are at peace with yourself, you will find you will be able to exercise that peace in every action of yours. Aversion to fault finding. This is very important. I'm sure most of you must have heard it in school and in your homes. We always point a finger. We are always pointing finger at others, forgetting the three fingers are pointing towards us. And it's always, you've seen, whether it's a movie that we watch, or whether you open a Facebook, or, whether you open your Instagram or any of these social media, there's always fault finding exercise. Today, you just put on the TV, it's only fault finding. Each one is finding fault with others. Each one is finding, if they can't find fault with others, they go back 100 years ago. That person did that mistake, so therefore all this is happening because of 100 years. It's 100 years old. Array, past is past, it's gone. Today is what we have. Let's live in the moment today so that we make the future better. What we all learn about, how much we are plundering and looting natural resources. Are we ever bothered about that? Here is the moment we have where we can stop all those kind of things, those natural calamities that are happening. Is anyone bothered about that? No. Somebody did that day, so today this problem, but they're not bothered about what we should do so that tomorrow nobody points to us today that we did this today. Or we did not do something that we have to do today. Compassion for all living entities. It's important, especially, yes, as as this human entity, or as the human body that we have the capacity to protect everyone. We must have that compassion to every living entity, because every living entity is has the Paramatma in it, and it's the eternal part of the Supreme Lord. We are not above anybody. We are just the same as them. It is just that by chance, by some punya of us, by karma of us, we have got this human body, and there's no guarantee that we will not get that body that we are harming today. Freedom from covetousness, holding on, attachment. I want this more and more. There's no end to greed. So someone who's free from covetousness has the quality of divinity. Gentleness in whatever you do, even if you have to work. Gentleness is what? Gentleness is all about how we speak, how we deal with things. Be gentle. Use nice words. Use kind words. Language is beautiful. In whatever language you're comfortable in, Make sure that you're using words, your choice of words are very careful, so that you're gentle in not only in the things that you do, but also in the way you speak. Even if you can't help somebody, at least give them words of solace. That will give them the greatest strength for them to deal with their problems. Modesty. Modesty is all about not kind of showing off. No show off. What is there to show off? Today we have this body and maybe beauty and youth and everything. But this youth and this body is not going to remain the same. So what do you want to show off? So be modest. And modesty will keep you youthful always. Modesty is the biggest youthfulness that one can possess. Steady determination. If you don't have the determination, that goal setting attitude, and also to achieve the goal, in the right way, then that will again not lead to good results. So steady determination in whatever you want to achieve. Vigor. Vigor is all about that energy. That energy is very, very important. And the energy and human body is endowed with energy. So that energy has to be galvanized into the right channels. So when you galvanize into the right channels, that energy can produce wonders. Forgiveness. I think that's the biggest thing. Because the more you kind of keep things to yourself, the more you're going to be negative, you're going to be in the realm of negativity, the more it is going to harm you. Because time and again, neurologists and psychologists and psychiatrists have said, the biggest problems of our life is we are our own enemies. We carry so many emotions in us. And those emotions are the ones which completely wreck us. So forgive. There are two types of forgiveness. One forgiveness is you just forgive for the sake of giving, but then you still harbor, the negativity in you. The other forgiveness is you forgive wholeheartedly. So wholehearted forgiveness is what is helpful. Forgiveness, just the lip service of forgiveness is not that's going to help. Forgiveness should be from the bottom of the heart. You keep a list of all the people that you want to forgive. Even if you don't kind of, tell them on their face, at least tell it to God. God, these are the people who I'm very angry on. Keep saying, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And you will find that you're not able to forgive one or two people, but keep attempting at it. You will be able to do it. And that is the winning attitude that you need to have in you. Fortitude. Fortitude is that, complete control. Come what may, good or bad or ugly, keep your spirit high. The moment you lose the spirit, you become weak. Cleanliness. Cleanliness here is not of the body. Cleanliness is of your thoughts. Only when your thoughts are clean, your relationships are clean. Only when your thoughts are clean, your words are good. Only when your thoughts are clean, every action of yours is clean. Okay, so remember, cleanliness is just not of the body. Cleanliness is of your thoughts. And your thoughts has its effect on everything. Then freedom from envy. The moment you bring in jealousy into yourself, you have brought in a disease. It is worse than cancer. It is worse than any form of COVID or monkeypox or whatever pox. It's the worst pox. It's the envy pox, I call it. So envy pox is very dangerous. Don't ever let envy to get the better of you, because it will not only spoil relationships, but it will also prevent you from doing your best, because all of us can do our best. I told you, each one of us have good qualities. Look at how you can make use of those strengths. Don't compare yourself with others. Comparison only leads to misery. It only makes you sad. It makes you pathetic. It makes you weaker. And freedom from envy and from passion of honor. Don't hanker for name and fame. Name and fame will automatically come. When you do everything well, name and fame will automatically come. But the moment you chase something, it will keep evading you. And when it keeps evading you, you want it more. And that means more attachment. So the Lord says, these transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Okay, any questions on this? These are 26 qualities. If any of you kept a count of this, there are 26 qualities. Did anybody keep a count of this? Did you all try to take account of these qualities? There are 26 good qualities. These are the 26 qualities that can really, really help us to lead a life of happiness. And it will also help you to kind of reduce your attachments. That's the beauty. And will help you to kind of give you freedom from this cycle. Now he's going to talk about the asura qualities, or the demonic qualities. He says, Dhambo Darpo Abhimanascha Krodha Parushyam Evacha Agyanam Chabijatasya Partha Sampadam Asuram. Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. 6 of them. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Partha, Pratha. So what did you understand from this? We saw 26 qualities that are divine, and there are just 6 qualities that are demonic. So what did you understand from this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, as much I have understood, we have more divine qualities, and the demonic qualities are less in number. However, sometimes it gets more powerful. It's because of our actions and our determination, obviously.
Exactly. So that is it. So always remember, we are capable of having better good qualities, which are larger in number, and we shouldn't let these petty qualities of arrogance, pride, anger, conceit means hypocrisy, trying to show something which you're not. That is conceit. Harshness. Use nice words. Language is so rich. Dictionaries are so big. Let's use the nice words from those dictionaries. Let's avoid all those words which will bring in negativity in our relationship, which will bring in negativity into ourselves, and which will also increase our ignorance. So these qualities, look at the way, this is an elephant which has gone amok. What does it achieve? It destroys everything. So same way, we shouldn't let these demonic qualities run amok in our heads, run our lives, ruin our lives, and run our lives into the path of negativity, into the path of our own downfall. We don't want to fall. We need to rise up in the present life, and also to ensure that we are getting freedom from the cycle of this worldly life. Okay. So now 16.5, he says, Daiva Sampada Vimokshaya Nirbandhya Asuri Mata Ma Sucha Sampadam Daivam Abhijjato Si Pandava. These transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Now let me go back. Why does the demonic quality make for arrogance? Arrogance leads to utter failure. Utter failure means what? It kind of, makes you lord over things. It makes you think that you are the doer. It kind of increases your ego. It increases your ahankaram. And so does pride. When ahankaram goes up, you're completely, get into the mode of anger. And then you're trying to show off. When you try to show off, you become harsh in life. And all this is what is ignorance, because you are not what you are. You're just a soul, and soul is eternal. This body is perishable. This body is impermanent, right? That's what the Lord is trying to say. He says the transcendental qualities help you to cross over the samsara, the ocean of samsara, and the demonic qualities make for bondage, because you hanker for more and more, and you create more and more bondage for yourself. So therefore, do not worry, O son of Pandu, you are born with divine qualities. He calls him in 3 names now. In the last 5, first he says Bharata. Bharata means he comes from a dynasty, or he belongs to a his lineage is a very rich lineage, and he calls him Pratha because his mother Kunti is also called Pratha. She was a she was a lady of strong willpower, and she was also a lady who kind of was extremely kind, despite all the atrocities that the Dhritarashtra and his sons imposed upon her. She actually didn't harbor any kind of distaste for them. So he said, you belong to a mother, you're born of a mother who actually has a very forgiving nature. And then here he says, oh son of Pandu. Pandu was a great man. His father was a very divine person. He actually gave up everything. He didn't want to kind of rule. He gave it up to Dhritarashtra and went away to the forest. So he said, you have all the great genes in you. So therefore, you do not worry. You're born of divine qualities. 16.6, he says, oh son of... Somebody wants to read this, Mataji? We have a couple of you there. 5 of you are here today. I don't know why the class is so small today. Somebody wants to read? All of you take chances and read. Come, Hare Krishna.
I couldn't see your slides now.
You can't see? Nobody can see my slide? Oh, I'm so sorry. One second. One second. I'm so sorry. What have I been doing? I am so sorry. Can you see this side now?
Yes, Mataji.
One minute. Now it's okay. 1 second. I think this is a slide. Yeah. Please read this, Mataji, whoever wants to read. Come. We are a small group today, so let's all take part. Come. Read 16.2.
Son of part, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonics. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So please, we should understand all of us will have all these qualities. So it's up to us to see how we can, make sure that the demonic does not rule. And similarly, the divine qualities also kind of, completely we must ensure that we protect it, and we should kind of keep guard that the demonic qualities don't come and eat them away. Okay. So now the Lord is going to explain the demonic qualities further. So he says, Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidur asuraha na saucham na pisacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done, because they don't care for anything. They don't care. They don't understand what religion is. They don't have any faith. They think, it's only they who exist. They think their power is all powerful and they are the ones, therefore they will rule the world. So they don't understand there's somebody higher. So when you don't look upon to a higher medium in you, the higher consciousness, obviously you're not bothered upon anything. So what do they? Neither is cleanliness important to them, nor proper behavior, not truth. You don't find anything. Cleanliness of thought. Here, cleanliness not of the body. Probably they may be wearing the best of they may have the best of suits. But the best of dresses and suits don't make a man. It's a character that makes the man. The attitude that you carry in your character makes you what you are. So therefore, when that is lacking, they have no proper behavior. They misbehave, and they're far, far away from what honesty and truth and modesty is. 16.8 Asatyam apratishtam te jagat ahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama haitukam. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
They say that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation, and that there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So these people live at a very bodily level. They think that this entire creation is because of sexual desires, and all these procreation, this progeny, this kind of population that has happened is because of people's sexual desires, and all this has happened because of that. And therefore, they think this world is lusty, and they lead a lusty life themselves. See, please understand, as long as all the evil qualities of arrogance, pride, lust, ignorance, and that all of those conceit, harshness, all of that exist, it will be difficult for virtues to show up. It's only when the evil qualities are completely gone away, we are able to tyaga, we are completely able to give up or overcome those evil qualities, would virtues shine. For virtue to shine, we have to ensure that we are keeping the evil elements in check. Okay, otherwise we are going to be something as moodatmas like this, completely thinking the whole world is lusty and the whole world runs only after sex and nothing else, money, sex, and and enjoyment. Yeah, that's the only thing which is there in the mind. These people are completely moodas. They are foolish, and they will remain idiots like that all their life. But we have to we now have understood, are learning all these things that we are doing right now. Therefore, we must see how can we should create that awareness in us. We have to constantly keep thinking and meditating and contemplating and seeing, hey, where am I? Where is it that, any of these 6 qualities are overtaking me? 16.9, somebody read this?
Mataji.
Yeah.
Following such conclusions, the demonic who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world.
Exactly. So this is the destruction that is going around the world. There are wars that are happening. There are people who are completely, finishing off the exchequers of the nations and running people to poverty. This is what is happening today. Why? Because of selfishness, greed, arrogance, hypocrisy. That is what is leading to all kinds of misery. Some are natural made. Natural disasters are also happening because we are unduly taking advantage of our environment. And some or many are also being man-made. So people with demonic qualities, they engage in activities that are neither will bring them good nor bring good to the society and to the world at large. 16.10, and can you read the slide, anybody? Hare Krishna. Come, others also. Anybody? Reading will help actually, it'll come. Anybody? Rajpriya Mataji, come.
Hare Krishna Mataji. They believe that to gratify.
No, 16.10 is there. Upar 16.10, hai na?
My mistake, Mataji. Okay. The demonic taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige, and being thus illusionized, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Mataji, may I continue with 16?
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
They believe that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for self-gratification. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So lust, pride, anger, ignorance, these are some that can never be satisfied. There's no end to it. One desire gets fulfilled, you want another desire grows up, or multiple desires grows up. Anger leads to nothing but more and more, more and more misery and distress, and anxiety leads to more wrongdoings. So these people, they constantly lead their life, doing one after the other, and thereby creating more and more of things that only kind of lead to multiplication of desires. Multiplication of desires means complete a hellish situation for any person. Okay, and what are the kind of hellish what are the things that can lead you to hell in the present life? Illicit relationships. Nowadays, I think you all are young people. You all have to be extremely guarded with respect to the kind of things, that nonsense that is available for that is there around us. Be aware of them, and don't get into any things that will make you regret. And the best thing is to be aware of all these things, and also taking care and keeping yourself guarded, and not allow anything or any kind of anybody to take you for a ride. Be very careful. The world is dangerous, so you have to be very careful. Next is intoxication. Don't ever get into any of these things which gives you that pleasure, that pleasure which is only temporary. Temporary pleasure will lead to permanent distress later on. And the third thing is never harm any living entity, which means you have to be aware. If any of you have the habit or are non-vegetarians, try and see how you can slowly get away from that. I know, with some of us live in certain families that have certain habits, but it's up to us, after we grow of a certain age, it's up to us to make our choices. So make those choices which will kind of make you more and better, more nice and a better human being. Because anything which is which the body doesn't require. The body, you will read that in the next chapter tomorrow, 17th chapter, where actually, sattvic khana actually helps you to grow your intellect. It also helps you to kind of lead a controlled life. So you will read all that tomorrow. So meat eating is something that you may want to think about. Intoxication, never go near it. Illicit relationship, please avoid it at all costs, because that only gives you more and more. You're going to injure your body and your mind and soul. So don't get into that. Gambling means, taking unnecessary chances. Don't take unnecessary chances. Make sure, I told you about, I gave you an example of bungee jumping. Don't do things, even that's a kind of gambling. Oh, everybody is doing, let me do. So that's also a kind of gambling. Don't do anything where you're playing with your life. Don't do anything where you're not sure what the outcome will be. Be very careful. All of you are endowed, you all are gifted, you all are all educated, you all are come from good families. Make sure that you're not letting this life go waste. And, and also make sure that nothing that you ever do comes to bite you later on in your life. Maybe something, for example, when we had this US President Trump fighting for what kind of things came out from his closet? So many things came out. People started throwing all his past ill records. So we have to be very careful what we do today, because something we do today will come to hit us later when we are in a position of, advancing in our life. Okay. Now 16.13 and 15, he says, what does a demonic person think? He thinks, so much of wealth do I have today, I will gain more according to my schemes. Because a demonic person doesn't, his lust is never satisfied. So he uses all kinds of means to get more and more. Just like Ravana, he was a great king. Everything was going well for him. Why did he have to ever think of stealing Mata Sita? She was, Adi Lakshmi. He knows that, not that Ravana was. See, the demonic people are very intelligent also. Not that they're not. They have all the good qualities, but they don't use those good qualities. And then, so much is mine now, it will increase in the future. He wanted to get Adi Lakshmi because he becomes the complete. He wanted to become Mahavishnu himself. So he is my enemy. I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. So they think only plundering is the only way for them to kind of advance in life. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect. They think they're perfect. What they're doing is perfect. They think, just doing things, in the way that elephant, the way the elephant that goes amok does. They feel destruction is what they think is power. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocracy. See, when you have money, everybody will come. When you have things going well for you, everybody will come. But when things don't go, everybody will run away. Nobody will even want to pick up your phone. So they think because of their power, everyone is coming to them. They don't understand. They don't understand that people who come to them are really not people who love them. There's no love there. Where can there'll be love in situations where the qualities are poor? Only when the qualities are poor. Look at Prabhupada. How, I wish we had time. I would have shown you a wonderful video of Prabhupada. How much love he got from people. And you will never see Prabhupada's family ever getting mentioned anywhere. Everything is run by his disciple. Today, ISKCON, the movement that it is, the platform that we are on, is because of the disciples who are running it. There is no element of Prabhupada's family involved. He was also a married man. He had children. He had his wife. He had his children. And then he took sannyas and then he went away. And then, no, I don't think he really, brought his family into this. Then there is, I shall perform sacrifices. They think, I'll also do whatever others are doing. It's not real. It's not from the heart. I'll call a few Brahmanas home and I'll give them charity. Okay. See, anything we do should come from the heart. Anything which you do for the sake of show, or anything you do for the sake of, just saying, okay, fine, my name should be there. For example, this guy, this fugitive. A lot of fugitives, a lot of people earned a lot of money in the country and they've left the country and gone. And you should see the kind of things they have done for temples. Do you think Lord is going to be happy with all those kind of ill-earned money? No. And the demonic people think just doing those little bit here and there will give them power, will keep them doing what they can do. No, that is not what Lord wants. That is not what society also accepts. So 16.16, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, one becomes too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and falls to hell. They have become fugitives. India doesn't respect them. Even in the countries where they live, do you think those countries will respect them? They'll say, hey, he's a fugitive who ran away from that country and he's walking around in our country. You will be disrespected. What kind of life is that? We don't want that kind of life. Now, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demon becomes envious of the personality of truth, just as the way Shishupal. 100 times the Lord, was patient with it. And he had told his mother, the 101st time, the minute he crosses 100, he's not going to be in good. So please understand, anything which is bad is always bad. The definition of bad is bad in every culture, in every country, and across the world. Similarly, the definition of good is good in every culture, every community, every caste, every creed. So good always is good, bad is always bad, and bad will always meet its end. And also remember one more thing. It might take some time for some of the bad things, karma, to hit you, but ultimately, bad karma will hit you either in the present janma or it will carry you through the next janma. And it's not necessary that you have to be born in this earthly platform. There are so many lower platforms that we have below the earth platform, so many planets. We don't know what kind of hellish life that would await us. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful. We're not talking about one janma. We have already completed many janma. That's why we have taken this janma. There are many more awaiting us if we don't take proper steps today. 16.19 and 20, somebody wants to read? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, read, Mataji, both.
16.19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, and are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life. Such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abdominal type of existence.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Most abominable, most worst kind of existence. And that's not where we want, right? So what do we want? What is the Lord saying? He's going to talk about how can we give up these kind of attitudes which are likely to kind of, come upon any of us. He says, Trividim narakshedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kamaha krodas tatalobas tasmadeta trayam tyajet. What does it mean? There are 3 gates leading to this hell. Which are the ones? Lust, anger, greed, kama, krodha, lobha. Every sane man, every man with intellect should give these up, for they lead to degradation of the soul. Which are the 3 gates that lead to hell? Hell means what? Hell in this life will lead us to kind of, a hellish kind of a life is what we will lead. And further on, it will continue into our next cycle. What are they? Kama, krodha, lobha, lust, anger, and greed. Okay. The man who has escaped these 3 gates, one who's been able to cross, or one who's been able to avoid, or one who's been able to take care of avoiding lust, kama, krodha, and lobha, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus attains a supreme destination. He lives happy in this life, and the happiness also helps him to kind of improve upon his ability to kind of avoid getting into this cycle of samsara. 16.23, he says, but who he discards? Anyone who discards this knowledge that the Lord is continuously and constantly giving us and acts according to his own whims and fancy attains neither perfection nor happiness in this birth, nor he will attain the supreme destination. 16.24, he says, Tasmak, therefore, Chastram pramanam te karya vyavastithau nyatva shastra vidanoktam karma kartum iharhasi. one should understand what is duty and what is not duty. What is duty is the dharma, the principles of dharma, and we must do our karma in such a way that we are not creating attachments. We must do it with detachment. And what is not duty is all the duties which are considered inhuman, which are considered anti-life, should be avoided. And these are all there in the scriptures. So follow the scriptures. If you don't know something, refer to the scriptures. So therefore, knowing such rules and regulation, one should act so that he may be elevated. Elevated means what? Elevated to the positive realm of things. Being positive in life helps you to kind of make sure that you're focusing well. It helps you to build your character. It is empowering. It is enlightening. It makes you aware of things around you. It does not fail you ever. It only leads to success and more success because you're constantly learning to advance. And then it also helps you to give you that samatvam, that balance, to kind of, make sure that you are not getting unnecessarily troubled by anxiety, distress, and anger, ignorance, and illusion. That is what this chapter teaches us. Hare Krishna. So we end this chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, so this is the chapter, and tomorrow we're going to look at the divisions of faith. Divisions of faith means what it means for us to kind of, live in the three modes. So the people who have any, the predominance of the three modes of nature that we saw, how does it show up in charity? How does it show up in the way we lead our life with respect to charity, with respect to our sacrifices, the foods that we eat, and also kind of, how do we maintain that balance and control in ourselves? That we will read tomorrow in chapter 17. It is called the divisions of faith. Okay. Any questions, anybody? So
Mataji, I do have one question. Mataji, as we have seen in this chapter, that demonic qualities are less in number as compared to the divine qualities. But my question is that why the demonic qualities are really dominating? Isn't it true? It is dominating. So what is the reason of that?
Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Kama, desires. Simple, only one thing, desire. It's desire which is driving us driving us to nuts. Ask yourself, what are those qualities, demonic qualities? Let's look at that. Let me go back to chapter 16. What are those? Pride, arrogance, ahankaram. What is arrogance? Ahankaram. Conceit, hypocrisy. Conceit is hypocrisy. Anger, we get angry, even small things we get angry, right? Harshness, we are harsh on ourselves. When you're harsh on yourselves, you're going to be harsh on others. And ignorance, we forget our eternal relationship with the Lord. When you forget your eternal position, when you forget that you are only a soul, when you forget that everything around you is impermanent. See, there are people leaving us every second day. Every day something we hear, either in our own family circles, or in our extended circles, or in our friend circle. There is something which is happening every day. But we never think that can happen to me also. Today, there is a war happening between two countries. We forget that the same kind of a condition can come upon us as well. We forget that. Right? It is basically our what do I call it? Our one is ignorance, and also our, we think we are immune to things. We think nothing can happen to me. Nobody can touch me. If at all something has to happen, so it will happen to them. If somebody is sick today, they can fall sick. I don't think I can fall sick. COVID will only attack someone, not affect me. It's a foolishness. It's a ignorance. That is what ignorance is. Ignorance is a foolishness. We think things can happen outside. Things can't. It will not happen to me. As long as we are in that realm of, nothing can happen to me, I am above everything, then that's where all our problems are. We forget all the goodness which are there. See, everybody has these goodness. Huh? In fact, the divine qualities are more than the demonic qualities in every person. And someone who's demonic can overcome. That's what the Lord says. You can overcome if you are able to control lust, anger, and kama, krodha, and greed. You can definitely be, because once that goes away, it's what is left behind is only virtues. All qualities minus these 6 qualities is virtue. Right? But even when we have the virtuous qualities, you need to remember, even many virtuous people also fall. Despite them being very highly spiritual, despite them being very knowledgeable, why they fall? They fall because of ego. The moment they think, I am honest, I can never go wrong. When you have that kind of impression, you lose. So check your ego. Check the ego and be aware of these 3 things: kama, krodha, lobha, lust, anger, and greed. Keep that in control. And when these things are in control, automatically your words are nice. And when your words are nice because your thoughts are nice. And when words are nice, you're automatically improving relationships. And then you're also able to think very carefully. You're able to make those kind of intellectual decision making improves. You look at in the Mahabharata itself, Dhritarashtra. Why is the war taking place? Because of Dhritarashtra. What is his desire? What is his desire? He's got anger. He gets angry. When the Lord is explaining all this to Arjuna, he's very angry. Why is Krishna doing all this? He asks Sanjaya. Why can't this Krishna keep quiet? Why is this, Arjuna, Krishna, admonishing and sermoning, Arjuna? Arjuna wants to run away. He doesn't want to fight. Why is he making him fight? That's his angst. Why can't this Krishna just keep quiet? And his greed. You can see kama, desire, excessive desire for kingdom. Anger, always ever angry because he wants everything for himself. He's afraid to not lose things. And greed. How much? After all, Lord said, they also belong to this clan. They are also prince. They also have a right to live. If not kingdom, give them 6 villages. It is the same thing for us. There, it is kingdom and 6 villages. Here for us, it is ourselves, our family, money, more money, me, my beauty, my thing. I should be the best in everything. The same. So all of us, there is a Mahabharata taking place in all of us. There is a Dhritarashtra in us also. And there is a confused Arjuna in us also. And there is Lord Krishna in us also. So we need to be careful how to throw that Dhritarashtra out and how to make that Arjuna in us strong with the great advice of Krishna. Huh? Mataji, did I explain? Was it okay?
Absolutely, Mataji.
Okay. Any other question from anyone else? There's Shriya Mataji, Kushbu Mataji.
Mataji, I want to ask one thing. Why always bad thing happen with the good people when we are seeing many times that having a good qualities, but they are struggling in their life, and for the other person they are struggling, but by heart they are satisfied with their life. Why is it so?
Yeah, this is a question that always people ask. Why do bad things happen to good people? That question itself is a very wrong question, because we are trying to distinguish that that anything can happen to others, but that should not happen to me. That feeling itself is a wrong feeling, right? And we also need to realize it's not that whatever is happening to us today is because of the present life. It is also because of some karma that we are carrying from our past. Once you understand that, you will know it's not bad things. You're only kind of, you are experiencing something because of some wrongdoing somewhere in the past life. You have to finish it, no? You have to pay the price for it, no? But the moment you kind of leave it and face the challenge that comes, don't look upon it as as a misery. Take it up as a challenge. There are so many people who have done it, Mataji. People have overcome difficulties. They have been born in poor families, no food. Look at our new president. She comes from a tribal family. Look at the kind of home she lived in. Look at that village. That village is still the same. Probably it's the same as what she was in her younger days. She has lost her husband. She lost 2 sons of hers. She has only 1 daughter. She faced all. Do you think she was born in a rich family? So she can also ask that question, no? If she had asked that question and if she had given up life and had said, God is merciless. Look at the one. She is now the first lady of the country. She's the first, not lady, first citizen of the country. President. If she had asked, yeah, we also had Pratibha ji before, but President Pratibha was not, not like at the same level as what our present president is. She came from a really a very modest family. I wonder if she probably even had, if she had all the books that she wanted to read, if she had all the kind of necessities that would have been required to study. Probably she must have gone to a small village school. And she must have even struggled with college, paying fees and all that stuff. Think about all that. So I don't think we should take it like bad things. Things happen to all of us. What do we know about the people, who probably we think are enjoying life? What do we know about? That's why I said, never ever compare. We don't know what is there, and you don't know what is there in my bag, and I don't know what is there in your bag. Only we know what we are carrying in our bag. So never ever allow that thought to come in that, something that has happened, why didn't it happen to somebody else? Why is it happening to me? That itself is a very wrong thought. The moment that kind of a thought comes, that itself leads you to, it restricts you to think from, it restricts you from thinking, beyond. Kushbu Mataji, this question comes up, everybody asks Mataji, in every class they ask this, sir. Even I've even taught young children, people who are just maybe 6 to 10 year old. I remember, in 2020, when I was doing a Gita session for young children, they were just they were 8-year-old and 9-year-old and 10-year-old and all, very small babies. Okay, we won't teach them the way we are teaching. There'll be a lot of stories and a lot of videos and all we show them. But one of the child's elder sister, she came on camera and she said, Mataji, you're saying all this. Huh? Why is COVID, destroying the planet like this? Where is God? Why is he not doing something about it? So there are such questions that come up. And we need to understand COVID is not something that we all know how COVID happened. It got developed in a laboratory. Who developed it? Some human being with some selfish motive has developed it. Right? There is hot water. Amma has told us, don't touch that. But still, if I go and touch it, then who did it? God asked me to go and touch it. No, God has given me the mind and intellect. He said, Janaki, there is hot water, be careful. I go and dip my finger into it and then I blame God for it. What God can do? Yes, tomorrow I may get COVID myself. And I may not survive. But that's what it is. What to do? So many other people have gone through it. So how can I ever think that if something happens to me tomorrow, that it shouldn't happen to me? I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to at least inculcate good habits, and therefore, how can such thing happen to me? That's my fate. All of us have our own destiny and our own fate. So we don't know. Destiny is not just in the present birth. It's also beyond this present birth. Right? Hare Krishna, Khushbu Mataji. Khushbu Mataji. Okay. Alka Mataji, Disha Mataji, you all have any questions? Are you there? Disha Mataji, Alka Mataji. Hare Krishna. Why nobody is answering? Okay, if no more questions, shall we close the session today? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo